you'll understand why. But feel free to ask these guys any questions or whatever, especially concerns about what you guys are doing out there on the line, okay? Whatever, what we should touch, what we shouldn't touch, this type of stuff. Very informative, but feel free to ask these guys any questions that you want. And they'll give you their real answers. I truly don't remember. So, have it.
So my name's Kirk Gardner. I work for Ohio Edison here in Summit County. So I'll just sort of kick things off. The first thing I want to say is why I have the opportunity is I want to thank you guys for the role you play in the community. As firefighters, it's a really important role. We appreciate everything you do. You know, oftentimes you guys are the first responder to a dangerous situation, and we know you got to be prepared for a lot of things. Just about anything and everything, so we really appreciate that. So when you do respond, oftentimes, and you're the first one there, there's a lot of hazards. And oftentimes it can be electrical hazards, whether you're responding to a house fire, a pole fire, a car pole accident, or just during stormy weather where there could be wires down. There's a lot of electrical hazards. So our purpose here for this training today is to just give you an idea of the significant and the potential hazard that electricity can pose, and to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe while you're out protecting the public. So again, like he said, this is informal. We're not professional public speakers, but we're passionate about making sure people stay safe around electricity. So if you got questions, feel free to ask. A lot of times some of the best information comes from the back door. So I'll turn it over to Mike Ressler and I'll let him introduce himself.
One thing I'm glad of, there's no policeman here, so I can talk a little faster. Anyhow, as Kirk said, my name is Mike Ressler. I'm a 35-year lineman by trade. I'm not a public speaker by no means. I built this demonstration back in the late 90s and kind of gone viral since then. For first responders. You guys are all first responders. You're a first responder whether you're in uniform, or you're a first responder whether your mother calls and says, hey, a big tree fell in my neighbor's backyard, it broke the fence, and there's wires down. You're going to go check your mom's house. Or if you're on your way home from the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody slides off the side of the road and hits a pole, you're probably going to stop and see if they're all right. So you are first responders. You're firemen during your shift, you're a first responder off shift. No matter what, we're guys, that's what we do. Biggest question asking me is how close can we get to a down wire? This is 7,620 volts. This is 7,620 volts in the city of Akron, in the city of Cleveland, no matter where you go, that's 7,620 volts. I'm not talking about a night when it's 70 degrees and fluorescent. I'm talking about a night when a 70-mile-an-hour windstorm went through here. I'm talking about a night when the ice is on the trees and the trees are falling over. That's 7,620 volts. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be the first responders. You're gonna be out there. Electricity, like water, is trying to get to one place, and that's the ground. And it don't care how it gets there, whether it's through you, through a tree branch, through a swing set, through cable TV, it does not care. And when it gets to the ground, it's dissipating. I know 2 paramedics and a fireman. The one fireman was actually from Wapakoneta, Ohio. You know who was from Wapakoneta?
I do.
I'll give you a hint. He went up in a rocket. Neil Armstrong. 2 paramedics and a fireman. All 3 of their death certificates say they died of massive heart attacks. All 3 were electrocuted and never even knew it. They were doing their job. They were performing some type of first aid. They were kneeling down 9 foot away from 7,620 volts. They were kneeling down doing their job. They had 1 voltage in the knee and a different voltage in the tip of their toes. 2 of them died in the ambulance, the 3rd one died in the hospital. All 3 of them died of massive heart attacks. All 3 were electrocuted and never even knew it. You will be the first responders. You will be the ones out there. And I guarantee you something, Captain. You're going to get a call someday. You don't have a daughter old enough yet that moved out, do you? No.
I wish I did.
No, yeah. I just heard that on the radio the other day. The happiest day of anybody's life is when all the kids leave.
Yep.
Yeah. But then when they have grandkids, it gets worse because then they bring them over and all that stuff. No. Anyhow, you're going to get a call someday. And they're going to say, Dad, a big tree fell in the backyard at my neighbor's house and it broke the fence. Can you come over? And you're going to go there. You will make 3 mistakes before you get in the backyard of your daughter's neighbor's house. First mistake is somebody's going to tell you there's a wire down. Do you really think you just had a 70-mile-an-hour windstorm go through here? Do you really think this wire is going to hit the ground? This wire is going to hang up on a tree, on a swing set, on a cable TV about that high off the ground. My brother-in-law was the chief of Independence. He called me one day and he says, Michael, Pete Nelson, you know,
I do not, but
He called me one day, he says, Michael, something's wrong. These deer coming up out of the woods are either missing limbs or their backs are all burned. So we went looking around the city of Independence. We found a down wire about that high off the ground. There were 34 deer limbs laying there. So that's your first mistake, somebody told you to wire down. Second mistake is you walk up in your daughter's neighbor's house and you walk up the driveway and there's gonna be a fence there. The sign on the fence is gonna say, beware of the dog. Best thing you can just grab hold of that fence and shake it, make sure the dog's not out. How do you know that wire's not laying on the fence? Have you ever been shocked? Yeah? Did you jump? Yeah, because your brain told your legs that hurt like hell. Electricity don't throw you, electricity grabs you. Electricity sucks the water out of your muscles. You ever see that movie, A Green Mile? What's the mouse's name?
I don't know.
Come on.
Mr. Jingles.
Mr. Jingles. Take a look at that guy who gets electrocuted. Tom Hanks walks up and he peels his hands off them pegs. Pretend that you grabbing that fence. Pretend that you grabbing that tree branch. You just made yourself what? Path to the ground. That's your second mistake. Third mistake is, let's say you get through that fence and you walk in that backyard with that big orange flashlight, you know, the one you stole from the fire department? Trust me, we all got them. You're looking down, what are you looking for?
Wire.
Wire down, you're looking for dog shit, who you kidding? Come on guys, we're human. You read a sign on the fence that said, beware of the dog. So what are you really looking for? Because the chief says, don't get back in my rig with that on your boots. We've been there, I've been there. We've been there. Electricity is right now. Electricity don't give you a second chance. You turn a water line on, it takes time for water to get to the water line, right? You turn a light switch on, or a gas line on, it takes time. You turn that light switch on, how long does it take them lights to come on? Right now. So every step you take, you're getting your body closer to a down wire. Every car pole accident you go up to, you walk up to that car. How do you know there's not a wire underneath that car or in that backyard? There's all kinds of devices out there. I know you guys don't have glow sticks, or what do they call them on the rig?
Hot stick.
Hot sticks. I know you don't have them. I'm not a believer in them. We have something. I'm not a believer in it. Learn to let your body talk to you. Your body will tell you. Learn to walk with your palms down. If you walk with your palms down and you push that tree branch, it can't grab you. If you hit that fence, hit that car door, it can't grab you. Right? Learn to walk with your palms down. Drag your feet. Be the bird on the wire. Keep your body in one voltage. Drag your feet. Your body's going to talk to you. You're going to feel mosquitoes bite the back of your neck. You won't feel it, but you're going to feel the hair on the top of your head stand up. You're going to feel your heart pound like you drank 5 energies. That's your body telling you, back off. Back off. You're getting too close. Learn to let your body talk to you. You guys will be the first responders. What's on the top of all of our poles? An insulator. A porcelain insulator. Not much difference than a Precious Moments figurine. It's a piece of glass. You just had half a ton vehicle hit the bottom of that pole. What do you think happened 40 foot in the air? Did it shake it? Knocked it 7,620 volts, landed on the crossarm. Crossarm's connected to the arm, or to the pole. And you got a half a ton vehicle wrapped around. Is that car hot at 7,620 volts? You just had a major storm. Those tree branches bounced off those wires all over the place. Did it bounce off that insulator, land on the crossarm? That pole's hot at 7,620 volts. Gentlemen, you will be the first, and ladies, I saw a couple in here. Sorry. Firefighters. Is that what we are? But see how things change. Is there any wire in here that's insulated? Common sense, we've all seen it, right? Common sense would tell you that's insulated. And you're absolutely correct, it is. Till we put it in the air. As soon as we put it in the air, lightning storm goes through here, so we put 1,000 little pinholes in here. Tree branches gonna rub up against it, rub the insulation right off. This is gonna get corrosion, it's gonna burn down. You're gonna walk up to it and go, that's insulated, put your hand over that pinhole around that neutral, sucks the water out of your muscles. And you can't let it go. You know more people are killed with low voltage every year than they are 7,620 volts. Alright. What we have up, we have down. Any voltage we have in the air, we have underground. You ever see this inside of a pole? What do you think's under there? Wires. 7,620 volts each. You just had a half a ton vehicle hit the bottom of that pole. It embedded itself into 7,620 volts. That car's hot at 7,620 volts. Anybody know where the Parma Tavern is? in Parma. I was waiting for that. I was gonna say, these guys aren't real sharp when we talk to the policeman. And where's the chief? He said he was bringing donuts today. Nah, never mind. Anyhow, right in front of the Parma Tavern, I got a call one time, car pole accident. I pulled up, that car was embedded into that pole. I pulled up at the exact same time as that apartment tow truck driver. That tow truck driver pulled in, backed up to that car, laid that T-bar down and shoved it right underneath that car. Remember the days when they used to say if there's a wire down on the car, keep them in the car? Those days are gone. Those days where rubber tires were really rubber tires. Are rubber tires really rubber tires anymore? Absolutely not. Those days are gone. So I pulled up next to that tow truck driver. I stood about 15 foot away. I said, sir, you just energized your truck at 7,620 volts. He cracked his window, he rolled it down, he looked at me like a deer in headlights. He didn't have a clue what I was talking about. I said, sir, you need to get out of your vehicle. Here's your car pole accident. You need to get out of your vehicle in one motion. Because if he's to step out, what did he just make himself? Ground. You need to get out of your vehicle. And he's looking, I said, sir, look at your couplings, they're starting to bubble. Please, you need to get out of your vehicle. He opens the door. Have you ever seen a skinny tow truck driver? No. Absolutely not. He stood on the running board and he jumped off in one motion. He did good. That's a piece of plastic. All right, what's up is down. You ever see those green boxes? Kids hide behind them all the time and play paintball, or they sit on them for the school bus. You ever see those? What do you think's inside there? 7,620 volts coming in, 7,620 volts going out. And it's pushed in there, nothing but a pistol. It's just plugged right in. So you got some landscaper that's got one of the big Skag lawnmowers, and he hits one of them things. Next thing you know, you got a mulch fire. That's not a mulch fire, that's an electrical fire. That's an electrical. 7,620 volts popped out and just hit the casing, causing that mulch to burn. I had this one time, and this always hurts me because I saw it. The city of Westlake, you know where Westlake's at? I do. Just say north, you'd be good to say, no, you do? Okay. In the city of Westlake, a 19-year-old kid from the city of Westlake had a brand new Ford 250. He had a brand new Western plow on that truck. So last October, we got about this much snow. So guess what that kid's doing? He's going snow plowing. He's going to make himself some money, right? So he backed down the driveway and he hit one of them hand-mounted transformers. That transformer rolled, so he had a brand new Western plow here. He had a pan-mounted transformer here, and he had a brand new Ford pickup truck. So what would you think a responsible 19-year-old kid would do at that point? Basically, get the hell out of there before he has to pay for it, because I'm not plowing snow all winter to pay for that transfer. And you know what's funny? We'd all do the same thing, right? I'm not paying for that, I gotta get out of there. So he got two of his buddies over there to pick that plow up so he could back over the top of it. He ain't picked the plow up because he backed over, that transformer rolled. 7,620 volts hit the casing, energized the snowplow. He killed both those kids. Electricity, like water, is always trying to get to ground, and it don't care how it gets there. You guys will be the first responders. All right, this might happen in Akron. This don't happen in Cleveland. But have you ever been somewhere where your lights blink and come back on? You ever see that yet? That don't happen where I'm from. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. You ever been on a car pole accident, Chief? First thing they ask you first thing they say is you need to squat. Second thing is, what do they ask you?
Phone number.
What's the phone number? Who cares? You tell me you're at the corner of Main and High Street, I'll find you. You tell me you're at 4200 Main Street, I'll find you. You tell me you're 500 foot north of Main Street, I'll find you. Usually those blue and red lights are a dead giveaway. I'll find you. That phone number, if I was in engineering, it means something to me. For you guys, just tell me where you're at, I'll find you. All right, your lights blink and come back on. That's our system working. That's how the system's supposed to work. That substation is built with nuts and bolts and springs. That substation has no idea you got a 70-mile-an-hour windstorm going on. That substation has no idea you're walking in your mother-in-law's backyard. It has no idea you got a car wrapped around a pole. That substation is built to pretend a tree limb landed on the wires. That's why it's going to trip off. About 22 seconds later, it's going to come back on. It's going to come back on real hard. And it's going to go, I can blow that tree limb right off the wires. Then it's going to go, something's really wrong out there. So it's going to shut off again. 22 seconds later, it's going to come back on again. And it's going to do that 3 times. After the 3rd time, that substation breaker is going to go, something's really wrong. And it's going to shut itself off. You know where Warrensville Center and Northfield are? The city of Warrensville Heights? I got a call one day. I actually had the vice president riding with me. I work nights, guys. I work after hours, I cover from Avon Lake to Ashtabula. I've been doing it for 17 years. So I had a vice president riding with me, because I think they drive around, they think I drive around and do nothing. Which, kind of avoid the line, no. I had a vice president riding with me, and we got a call, wires down and burning, between Warrensville Center and Northfield Road in the city of Warrensville Heights, just south of Harvard. So I pulled over there, there's a street called Raymond, turned down Raymond, went about 3 houses down, and there was an Alaskan Husky smoldering up against the fence. And there's a school back there. So I says to the guy that was with me, whatever you do, don't get out of my truck. 15 houses down the street, the fireman was sitting. Hey, the backyard's on fire. So I got my rubber gloves, I walked in the backyard. One layer of wire was laying on the fence, so every fence post down the street was high. That dog leaned up against the fence, what did he make himself? Pat the ground. The other wire was in the backyard burning. This is the guy's backyard. It crystallized the backyard. Burning, burning, burning. You know how far away the substation was? About a half a mile. You know how many times that substation breaker tripped? Not once. Never reacted one time. That's why I've said it before. Any wire down has to be considered energized till somebody, sometimes you gotta wait 20 minutes till they get there, right? At least. Any wire. I can't even say that with a straight face. Any wire down has to be considered energized. I know you know what phone looks like. I know you know what cable looks like. But how do you know 15 poles down the street, 7,620 volts that land on that cable TV? I had it one time in the city of Seven Hills. They told me car pole accident. I turned the corner on Broadview going on the east on the rock side, and all the phone wires were melting. Going, what the heck? And I see all the little cable lines all laid all over the place. Almost 2.5 miles down by 77, the mayor actually, the next mayor of Seven Hills, hit the pole. 7,620 volts landed on the lamp bracket and heated everything up. And the phone lines were burning down from 7,620 volts. Gentlemen, you will be the first responders. You're gonna be the ones out there. In this room, the 20 soldiers that are in this room, there's 20 distractions in this room. What do you think it is? There's 20 distractions in here.
20 minutes.
Your cell phone. Your cell phone. You know, if you're on a call, a fire call, and all of a sudden you walk around the garage and you're in the back behind a tree making a phone call, what do you think the chief's gonna say? You're gonna get your ass chewed, right? Yeah. You ever been stopped by a policeman? Yeah? Did he walk up to you with a cell phone in his ear? Absolutely not. But if you're on your way home and your wife calls and says, stop at mom's house. So you're walking up your mother-in-law's neighbor's house to look at something, a wire down or a tree that fell, and you go on your phone to tell your wife you're there. Are you really paying attention to what you're doing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a distraction, and it happened to me last February. Last February, it was cold outside. I was in the city of Gatesville, Pepper Pike, on Gatesville's Boulevard. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I started at one end and my partner started at the other. He called me to see where I was walking. So I picked up my phone, I answered my phone. As I was walking up this long driveway in the city of Pepper Pike, walking up the driveway, talking to him, I walked through the fence, didn't pay attention to what I was doing, and I walked right on one of them covers of a swimming pool. You know those ones that say hold an elephant? Trust me, they do. And I was like, what the hell? I said, Jim, you're not gonna believe what I do, what I just did. I wasn't paying attention to what's going on. We're the same way, we all do it. If you stopped on the way home, or if you got a car pole accident, and it's, you know, you're a fireman, so you're calling the house to tell them where you are, and you're out there, are you really paying attention to what you're up? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You remember years ago, Chief, we used to have those things on the wall that had dials on them? We called the telephones. Remember those? Remember your parents saying, don't go on the phone during a storm? And you'd go, why? And they'd go, because I said so, right? Or they'd say, don't take a shower during a storm, and you'd say, why? And they said, because I said so, right? What's lightning?
Electricity.
Going where?
To the ground.
So if you're on the phone, what were you?
Ground.
Half the ground. If you're in a bathtub, remember they were cast iron and steel? So what were you? Half the ground. It hasn't changed. You ever drive down the street and see 2 guys in a bucket working and 1 guy on the ground? Have you really? I've been trying to catch these guys working for years. That's like trying to catch a policeman out of a donut shop, you know? No. Take a look at the guy in the ground. The guys in the bucket, they're the birds on the wire. They're in an insulated bucket with an insulated boom that's tested every year. And that boom's washed and waxed every month. Drive by a truck, it's gonna be 80 degrees and sunny outside. You gotta go. Take a look at the guy in the ground. The guy in the ground got a big pair of rubber boots on. And you're gonna think, why does he got those big boots on? It's 80 degrees out here. Electricity's trying to get the ground. That boom, which is tested and washed every year, there's natural particles in the air, you know, you got Firestone, you got power plants that put particles in the air, you got the natural particles in the air that build up on that boom. So every time that guy touches the truck, what did he just make himself? Path to ground. Every time he sits on the bumper, what did he make himself? Path to ground. All right? I said I work nights, and I do. I've been here for 35 years. I start out of my house in that white pickup truck. It's out there. There's two things I do every single day before I get in that truck. Every day I put this on. Why do you think I put this on? Huh?
So people can see.
No, because the company told me I have to. Be honest with you. I know to look both ways before I cross the street. I know to look in my mirror before I get out. But the company told me if I don't wear this every day, they're going to get fined. But my school teacher told me, you better test your gloves every day. You know how many bin doors I hid behind? Or how many bathroom stalls I walked into? Let me ask you something. Captain, what city you live in?
I live in Green.
Green. Do green policemen wear vests? Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. But how often do you think he uses that vest?
Not very often.
Hopefully never in his whole career, right?
Right.
Absolutely, hopefully never in his whole career. But you know what? I'd hate to be the chief and say we issued him a vest, but he didn't wear it. They issued me my rubber gloves, and they told me you better test them every day. That is my bulletproof vest. I work nights. So if you call and say you got a wire down in the backyard, or at your mother-in-law's backyard, you didn't call to see me. There's really something wrong in the backyard. I actually had this, that last snowstorm we had in the city of Cleveland Heights. It was on a Sunday. We actually thought the lady was a nutcase. She called and says, my dog keeps getting shot. So the crew went there at 9:22 actually on a Sunday night, and it was dark. So the crew went there, and they looked at the meter, it was turning. They looked at the wires, they were up, so they left. So the lady called back Monday and said, my dog won't go outside because he keeps getting shot. So the crew went there Monday night, saw the meter turn and looked up, saw the wires up, they left. So Wednesday, they called me and they said, this lady's nuts. She keeps calling. So I went there Wednesday night. And as I went there, I was talking to the lady and her husband. And I had my rubber gloves like this because I was on the front porch. And the dog come. I heard the dog chain rattling. It was behind me. I heard the dog chain rattling. So the dog walked over to where the husband and wife were and walked past the gate of the fence that was open. That dog didn't bark. That dog yelped. And I looked at that dog like, what the hell did that dog just do? So I put my gloves on, walked in the backyard, looked up, and man, those wires are up. The 7,620 volt line. Those wires are up. Actually, this was our 4,000 volt system. So I walked where the tree was in the empty lot next door, and I'm looking at it. Here, what the crew did, they had wires down during the storm on Sunday, but they pulled new wire, but they caught the old wire as they pulled the new wire up. So the old wire was hooked on the fence, going back up onto the new wire, so it was energizing the fence. The dog told the story, but nobody was listening. Just like if you call and say something's wrong, you didn't call to see me, something's really wrong. I said I work nights, and I do. But I go in Sunday during the day. I hear confessions up at St. Paul, too, if you ever want to get known. I go in Sundays during the day. I was coming home, this was in the fall, and I was in East Cleveland headed west on Route 2. Dispatch called me about 1:45, and they says, we have a low wire, lights on, in the city of Berea. I says, don't hold anybody overtime. Wait till the 4 to 12s come on. So I kept heading west on Route 2. My daughter calls, who lives in Olmsted Falls. She says, Dad, can you watch the kids for about an hour? Here's where I told you they become a pain. No. So I'm heading, I said, yeah, Veronica, I'll be right over. I'm actually heading in that direction. So I kept heading west on Route 2. I called dispatch, I says, where's that low wire at in the city of Berea? They says, all we got it is on Rocky River Drive just north of Bagley. I said, oh, all right. So I was getting off at that exit anyways. I turned right on Rocky River Drive. And this little boy about 8 years old. Has anybody got a son or daughter about 8 years old? Do you think he knows what the illuminating company means? Probably not, huh? Not a clue. So I turned the corner on Rocky River Drive, and this little boy about 7, 8 years old, his arms are going like this, and I had my window up. I can see his mouth going like this, and I roll my window down. He's yelling, down here, mister, down here, mister. Now I was headed home. I took my rubber boots off, I put my glasses away, I put my hard hat away, I put everything away. I'm thinking, this little boy don't know what the illuminating company means. He needs help. And he's yelling, down here, mister. So I pull over. He runs down this embankment, runs up the other side, and takes off running in the woods. I'm thinking somebody fell. This kid needs help. So I jump out. I run down the embankment. My cell phone's in my truck. I run down the embankment. Then I had to walk up the other side and walk into the woods, because trust me, I can't run that far. So I walked after him. He was 6 poles back in the woods. That's over 900 feet. And he's back there, and there's like 6 of his buddies back there. And this, I can't picture, you little son fingers about that big, about that long, huh? This little boy standing there with like 6 of his buddies going, look, mister, right there. Look, mister, right there. Here's your low wire lights on. There's 6 dead deer laying there. His finger was that far away from 7,620 volts. And to this day, I look at that picture and I get goosebumps because I see 6 little boys laying there. And I was like, oh my. So here I am, 900 foot back in the woods. What am I supposed to do? Tell these little boys, don't move, I'll be back. I can't do nothing. I don't have a cell phone to call. I'm standing there like an idiot.
Who's that?
Somebody's wife called. Call, hey, get out of this train. So I'm standing there like an idiot going, I don't have a cell phone, I don't have nothing. I can't tell these little boys, don't move, I'll be back. I looked up a park ranger walked around the corner on a horse. I was able to flag him down to keep the little boys away from a low wire lights on. A low wire lights on. Take a look at that picture. Anyhow, a while ago there was a car pole accident in southern Ohio where the accident caused the primary to fall off the pole but not reach the ground. The primary was hanging 5 to 6 foot off the ground. The rescue squad and the fire department arrived and noticed the victim walking around the low-hanging primary. They, the firemen, tucked under the primary, secured the victim to a backboard and commenced to take the victim to the squad. All the fire personnel tucked under the low-hanging primary except for the last one, who stood up too soon and contacted the primary wire on the shoulder. 5 of the 6 firemen and the victim were killed. If you read this whole story, the backboard was fiberglass. The backboard was non-conductive. That fireman stood up and contacted 7,620 volts on his shoulder. Where did it go? Right to the ground, and what did it do? Dissipated. The victim was killed because one fireman was holding the straight board and touching his calf. Electricity, like water, is always trying to get to ground, and it don't care how it gets there. All right, questions for me? If this was policemen, we'd have all kinds of them. All right, I tell you what, we do have a live demonstration set up outside. You want to go right to it, or you want to take a break? It's up to you. Go right to it? Right to it. Let's do it. Move up. Move up.
Hey, John, we got those.
All right, guys, I know you pull meters because I was here yesterday. All right, there's all kinds of devices to pull meters. There's something that looks like this, kind of like that one sitting right there behind the organ. I'm not a believer in this. I can't change your policies, but I'm not a believer in it. Because to pull that, you got to stand right in front of it, put your hands on it, pull it. The electric meter, behind that meter is 2 little pieces of porcelain. And I'm going to back up a little bit. If you're on a fire due to somebody growing meth, or something tampering, something that you know it's a drug house or something, don't pull the meter. Because if they're smart enough to grow meth, trust me, they're not paying their electric bill either. They're smart enough to bypass it. These people know how to do it. If you're on a house that meter's been on that house for 50 years, there's 2 little pieces of porcelain back there. They're probably cracked. Or if you're going to a house fire and it's due to underground fed and that meter base is cocked sideways and falling off the house, don't pull it because the porcelain's probably cracked. Or if a tree comes down and the pipe and loop are on the ground, the meter base is on the ground, don't pull it. If it's on the side of the house, I have no problem with pulling it. Like I say, there's different devices out there. There's that thing, there's another device that looks like a pair of hands that goes over the meter. You pull it out, you pull it. You're not strong enough to do it on the side. I'm going to show you the correct way to pull a meter. To pull a meter, take your side cutters, cut the seal off. Whether it's overhead or underground, cut the seal off. Put your side cutters away. If it's overhead fed, it's going to have something that looks like this. Take your screwdriver, take the screw out, take the ring off. Put your screwdriver away. If you see something like this is for our preferred customers. Okay? You can take every set of bolt cutters you have on every one of them rigs, and trust me, you will not cut this off. You will blow yourself up before you get that cut off. Alright? To pull a meter the correct way, this is an underground meter base. Take the cover plate off. Stand off to the side. Put your hand under it and hit it. And pull it. If this is cracked, if these two little pieces of porcelain are cracked, this is grounded and this is grounded. If there's a hairline crack in there, those four prongs are keeping this from blowing up. Once you take this off, that crack's going to turn sideways. And it's going to have a dead short between a ground and a hot, and one hell of a ball of fire is going to go right on past you, and trust me, you will shit yourself. But you know what? It's going to go, woo! If you're standing in front of it, where's it going to hit you? Right in the face. All right? What do I got here? I got what you guys see every day. These things in front are capacitors. Those are no different than that 2-inch pump on that pump truck. Those are a pump in the electrical industry to keep the electricity flowing. You take a 2-inch pump, you just got done pumping water, then you tell the young guy, go take the hose off, what happens? He's gonna get a bath, right? Because it's holding pressure. That is the only thing in the electrical industry, and they look just like this in the field, but they're gonna be about that tall. And they're on the side of a pole and nothing but a metal milk basket. That is the only thing that will hold 7,620 volts with no wires connected to it. This other thing is a transformer. Transformers are a very stupid piece of equipment. They know high voltage on top, low voltage on the bottom. You see a transformer on the ground, you got, oh, I bet it gets this wrong. How much my bet? Cup of coffee, fresh coffee?
Pretty far.
Yeah, you might be. You got a transformer on the ground. There's no wires connected to it. There's oil all over the place. What do?
Run.
No, steal a copper. There's about 65 bucks worth of copper in there. Now, if that transformer's down and there's no wires connected to it, it's dead. But stay away from it. This is you. This is your hands. This is your feet. This is 7,620 volts. No difference than we have out here. It does not arc. It does not spark. Till it finds a path to ground. And once it's got you, it's not going to let you go. You're on your way home from the Parma Tavern. Somebody hits a pole. You're a fireman. So you're going to stop and see if they're all right. Or you're on your way home from the Browns game, and there's a wire down on that car, you have no idea. You walk up and grab it, and it's energized at 7,620 volts. Guys, you will be the first responders. You're gonna be the ones out there. Here's your chain link fence. Every link in this chain is a fence post.
Yep.
Take about 7 seconds to start the concrete furnace. You know, this time of year, there's a lot of heat. So a lot of times these BFI trucks, how's that sound? A lot of times these BFI trucks and garbage trucks been going in the same driveway since February. And they go in that driveway to get the dumpster. All of a sudden now he pulls in that driveway and hits a phone wire, or hits a wire, and then he gets a call, wires down on the truck. I'm seeing this every day in the city of Lakewood. Well, wires in the summer with this heat droop. So now that driveway, he's been going in since last February, that wire droops, he catches that phone wire, or that little wire. You ever take a rubber band and go like this and it snaps, what happens? You take a phone wire and you go up and there's a garbage truck behind the apartment. But how do you know that cable TV or phone wire didn't shoot over the top of 7,620 volts, come back out, land on that truck's hot. All right? Here's a 250 pair phone line. Wire comes down, lands on the phone wire. Lands on the phone wire. You go up and go, oh yeah, that's that big wire, that's the phone cable. How do you know 7,620 volts didn't land on it somewhere? Especially during a storm. There's a chain link fence. Walk up, make sure the dog's not out. Look familiar? I took it out of that cage. Fireman jacket, walk in the backyard, you're all suited up. Walk in the backyard, up to a down wire. Alright, there's all kinds of, real quick. Fireman's boot, you guys get leather or rubber, it does not matter. Walk up and step out of that wire. Alright, I said, there's two things I do every day. What did I say I do every day? Check my gloves and what else?
Put your vest on.
Put my vest on. Good job, you guys listen. God bless you. Here's a good rubber glove, just like the pair I got on. Alright? I'm going to put one pinhole in it. That's one pinhole. Alright? Here's your rubber, here's your hot dog you wanted. Alright? Tell you what, did I check my gloves? Questions for me? Questions for me? How do we check? I give them to a younger guy. I've been here for 35 years. Our gloves are made two different colors for a reason, and our gloves are dated. Every 6 months we get a new pair. They're two different colors, so I can check and make sure there's no red showing between the end of the fingers, and I blow it up. Now, I was told yesterday, and I did see them, your department gets new gloves. You know, every 6 months I saw the gloves you had and they're still in date. Do I recommend you do it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You don't want, and I know it's cocky, but you don't want me doing your job. Don't move lawyers. Alright? What else? Alright, well, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.